Inferior sound on modern 4K films. Are you experiencing this? Are you finding that a lot of these new films that are coming out with Dolby Atmos soundtracks just aren't really Atmos? They don't seem to be anything great. Let's talk about it today on the channel. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, my name is Matt and this channel is all about movies, TV, all this kind of stuff behind me here, collector's editions, and a little bit of sort of home cinema stuff. I'm fortunate enough to be able to have my own home cinema with a screen and a receiver, and I'm fortunate to be able to experience Dolby Atmos and DTS:X sound through my receiver. I have a 7.2.4 setup, and what that is, it means that it's 7 speakers surrounding you. So you've got the front stage, the 2 speakers at the front, and the central speaker where the dialogue comes out of, and then you've got 2 speakers at the side, 2 speakers at the back. You've also got 4 up-firing speakers, so that's the 0.4, which is to reflect the sound up to the ceiling and back down, so you get a sense of height. And the 0.2 is the subwoofers, so your bass. So yeah, the theory behind it is it's to create a very immersive experience. I do have a projector as well, so that projects onto a screen, which my screen size is 84-inch, which in this day and age, that's not actually that big for a cinema room now. Even some TVs are sort of 100-inch, but for where I live and the space that I have, it's the most I can sort of achieve, and you know, it's a great experience. And with 4K discs, you generally get Dolby Atmos soundtracks. Occasionally you'll get a DTS:X soundtrack, and the difference between the two is that Dolby has created their own sound stage for immersive audio, and DTS, which I think is owned by Sony or was owned by Sony, their format is X, and it's the same kind of thing. You do tend to find with DTS tracks throughout the years that their bass is a little bit heavier, and for those that really like sort of films with a lot of bass, certainly action films with explosions and rumbling thunder and dinosaurs, you know, this kind of thing, it's, you know, a great experience. So throughout the years we've had various different formats. We sort of started originally with 2-channel stereo, then on a lot of DVDs we got a 5.1 mix, which is, so it's 5 surrounding channels, and the 0.1 is the bass. And a lot of people do still have 0.1 on their systems. I was just fortunate to be able to get a second subwoofer, so I've got 2, and generally speaking it sort of aids balance of bass, so you get a sort of better bass rather than just your 0.1. Then 4K came along and Dolby produced Dolby Atmos, which again is your immersive audio stage, and generally it's sort of to help with when you go to the cinema. They have Dolby Atmos and things like sort of rainfall or overhead effects. You should get them from time to time, subtle things here and there. And the idea being that that could be translated into the home cinema setup. I mean, you can even get these Atmos speakers built into sound bars now, or have wireless speakers, so you don't have to go to sort of buying all these separate components like I have. But But yeah, the idea being is to sort of create a better sound stage for you to listen to. Now, it's been a good few years. I think probably up to about nearly 10 years now that we've had 4K discs. And for many, many years, we've had some reference discs that have come out with fantastic soundtracks, both with Dolby Atmos and DTS-X. However, I have noticed in the last year or two that some of these discs that are being produced, the Atmos doesn't seem to deliver as much. And then you start to question, well, is it my system? You know, have I set it up wrong? Sort of what's going on. An example of this was the film Twisters, which wonderful steelbook this, the 4K edition. Looks great, absolutely fantastic to look at. HDR, really, really cool. But I was expecting an amazing soundstage on this one. Certainly the original Twister film, which we got earlier in the year, had a fantastic Atmos soundtrack on it. Very, very immersive, wonderful. I'd originally had the Turbine edition, which was the Blu-ray. And again, with some Blu-rays, you do get an Atmos soundtrack on them. Always worth looking out for those, because sometimes you'll find them on the Blu-rays as well as the 4Ks, but generally speaking they will leave it for the 4K discs because it's kind of that premium format, so they want you to buy the more expensive disc. But with this Twisters track, I was very disappointed. It wasn't the same experience that I got with the film Twister. I was expecting, you know, everything to be enveloping, great bass, sound effects, you know, things going on all over the place. And whilst it was pretty good, to sort of get a better experience, I would have had to turn the volume up a lot higher, which is difficult because you don't want to sort of disturb other people in the house. You've also got to think of your neighbourhood that you're in, and all this sort of a thing. And it's not just this release. I think there's a lot of new films that are coming out where, and I've seen other channels, certainly more the sort of home entertainment, home cinema people, that are finding this, that a lot of these 4K discs are not really being delivering on the sound. And it makes you wonder whether, because there's such a short window now between cinema release and the producing of these discs, both on physical media and on digital. Now, I can't speak for digital because I don't delve into that. Whether the sound is better on that, I'm not sure. But certainly for physical releases, it's almost like corners are being cut. Maybe the sound engineers not having the time to be able to sort of curate the discs and really give us the sound that we deserve. I do feel like maybe we're being shortchanged a bit here, you know, and it's not just one particular studio that's doing it. It seems to be across the board. Generally speaking, Disney, you often have to increase the volume on a lot of their physical media. Anyway, that was always a bit of an issue with them. But yeah, certainly this is more the immersive soundtrack, and a lot of bass is not coming through in a lot of these discs. Certainly if you've got dedicated subwoofers, and some people spend incredible amounts of money on this equipment. Me personally, I have gone more for a budget kind of speaker. Still sounds great, but I'm not sort of in sort of the position to be able to spend thousands and thousands of pounds on speakers and all the rest of it. But my system is, you know, reasonable, and some of the discs, even on DVD, some of them sound fantastic. But I do feel that we are being a bit shortchanged by some of this these mixes that are on these modern discs. So my question to you is, have you experienced this? Do you think maybe these discs are being designed more just for the standard TVs now, maybe with a sound bar? Do you think sort of home cinema enthusiasts are being shortchanged? I'd be interested to hear people's thoughts on this. Are you finding some of these discs aren't living up to the sound that you hope? We're paying a lot of money for these 4K discs, and you know, they're not delivering, which I think is a bit of a shame, really. But yeah, I think if enough of us sort of in the community can sort of voice about this, maybe the studios might start listening to us and maybe extend that sort of release date strategy, extend it out a bit, so it's giving the engineers time to be able to get the mixes correct on these discs. We do see it as well that some discs are being sort of having to be replaced because things are being rushed. That must cost the studios money. For example, the Superman 4K, Superman 2 4K, and The Quest for Peace. Apparently, there's a replacement disc program going on at the moment, so you can replace your 4K discs. You send them a photograph, proof of purchase, etc., to the email address at Warner Brothers, and they will send you replacement discs. But again, that must cost them extra money. So why not just get it right? You know, the consumers will wait. You don't have to get this stuff out so fast. I know they're trying to do it to get a bit of a return, a quick return, but in the long run, is quality control, is that suffering? Anyway, just a short video on this subject. Probably not for everyone. Some people aren't that fussed about the sound, they just want to watch the film in the best possible quality on their television, and that's absolutely fine. But for us sort of cinema enthusiasts who, you know, spend considerable money on these systems, yeah, are we being shortchanged by the studios on their 4K discs and even some of the Blu-ray discs? Thanks for watching. See you next time.